peoples of the internets, and welcome to week 14 of Industrial Rallycross, where today I'll be driving some German super sports vehicles, beginning with this Duhen Bubble Hen race all-wheel drive, as I completely messed that up. It's got loads of lovely grip, as you would expect perhaps from an all-wheel drive small car thing without a huge amount of power, just trying to somewhat preserve my body kit around there. I probably shouldn't have, because it came at the expense of speed, and I've not destroyed the vehicle yet, which is always a benefit. Anyway, we're able to floor it through there, which you wouldn't see on race tyres, because this hasn't got race tyres, it's got sports tyres. It was why I decided we could use this, because if it was on race tyres, I would have discarded it as being too heavily a race car and not used it. And look at what I've done here. Thankfully it looks mainly like bodywork damage, just, oh dear, that was a bit more aggressive than I wanted. We should still drive okay, thankfully, so we should be able to get a good third lap, although the second lap has been messed up. This is not the highest resolution of interior. It's because I believe it's from Street Legal Racing Redline or some other kind of older video game, so that would be why. Steering feels straight, if not very almost straight. The bodywork is a slight mess, oh dear. It locked up under brakes and got a bit slidey. That was what really threw me into a walk on the second lap. And it will get sliding if I get the power in just the wrong moment. I believe it's a turbo, so when that kicks in at just the wrong moment, it gets in the way. But we do feel like, as of yet, we're going well. Floor it through here. We've not hit the wall there, which is always good. And we're going wide, but we can floor it through this part and hopefully get a good time, yes. Not the quickest in the world, but pretty good. So, here we are in a field, and I just done something to the car. But anyway, we have the vehicle with its time. It did quite well. A 0 second 32 point, where is it? 173, which is below the Ibishu touring car, Pessima, Mark 1, in some order, that is, and slightly above the S-Series exclusive by about 0.03 seconds, so not bad there by any means, although it has been beaten by the Covet Cardboard, which is just above the Mark 1 Pessima touring car. So, all in all, I'm quite impressed with this. It's definitely not a bad time, but it could do better, I feel. It really could. However, it's just in need of race tyres. I mean, it is supposed to be a race variant, and if I flip it over... No, that's a mirror, I don't want you. Well, I want the mirror, just not at this moment. Anyway, you'll see they're not race tyres. We could also be a little wider, that would always help. But all in all, I don't think we've done too badly for this. So, we'll move on to the next vehicle now. So, here we have the ETK KC80 Rain and GTE Pro, which is basically a wide-body touring car ETK K-Series. A vehicle which I tried to drive in all-wheel drive 6-cylinder guys, and it didn't go too well. Now, there's a lot of power on tap here, and I've already messed up my first lap, so we're going to have to try and get that speed back elsewhere. If I can maybe use next to no other power to be safe. It seems like this is working. Oh dear. It's not gonna like the dirt though. It's not going to like that. Ooh, surprisingly enough, it felt like it had more rear end grip there, but yeah, rear end grip feels like it's sorely lacking in this vehicle, and I'd rather lose control there than across the finish line, I guess. Anyway, since we have the opportunity to do this, I'm just going to cheat reverse my way up here and hopefully not break my car. And then we can hopefully drive this way. Wait, and then carefully accelerate, carefully, ever so carefully round here. Oh dear, I've got to be careful. Yeah, I think we're too slow around there. Are we getting caught in turbo lag? I don't know, it's a V8. The aspiration I'm not so sure of. Come on. we've got round there, not in the way I wanted to. This is going to be a poor vehicle. The first one, admittedly, I was really overdoing. Everything was over a minute, but it feels like that Barstow convertible where you just can't use any of the power. It's all power and no handling, which does not remind me of the I-Series I drove at all. Either of the I-Series, actually. They were both a lot nicer than this. Mind, we do have some more tyre heat now, I believe, so shouldn't be quite as horrible. Now here I have to be careful because that's where I overcooked it last time. I'm really not using near as much power as is available though, because it just won't let me. I can try, but if I try, I'll end up spinning the thing and floor it now because I'm not too worried. Have I done it? No. Oh dear. I should not have done that. Okay, so a disappointing time from this vehicle, but as far as crazy powerful, uncontrollable rear-wheel drives go, it's not done too bad. We have beaten the 200BX Type Z and the Barstow 423 V8 convertible thingy, so it's not bad in that respect, but the grip isn't here. Even with these wide tyres, it's just not able to grip from lower speeds. It feels a lot like a gearing thing, because at least in certain driving video games other than Beam, you can adjust the gearing yourself. You can actually, if you have an adjustable transmission, do it within Beam itself, but from standard, this is not right. It's also ended up in a post, like most of these probably do. I'm wondering if I can free it now. Ooh, it's welded into that post pretty hard by the crash. Thankfully it wasn't the driver's side, so I guess I got lucky there. But anyway, it's still beating a pair of school buses as well. So, all in all, a disappointing time, but it could have done worse. And here we have a interesting change of pace for the quicker, I think, because it's a all-wheel drive I-Series with 600 horsepower. The Norlhart is the name of this car, and I think this could be really quick because the I-Series have tended to handle quite well. So when you pair it with all-wheel drive and a decent amount of power, it should go well. I remember these can understeer on the limits, but they should be far from bad. Remember, we've got no electronic assists though, so although there's some turbo lag and slide if I really push it, this is a surprisingly manageable car. I mean, who knew ETK, the same company that made that KC8T I just drove, could make something controllable as this? And that felt like it was going completely wrong, but I think I've just about managed to recover it. So we are getting round here. Oh dear, I've slightly messed up my racing line round there, but I'm really liking this. I mean, it's by no means the easiest to control of vehicles, but that's just because of the sheer speed it travels at. It's actually very, very predictable for a extremely powerful all-wheel drive car. Again, it feels like we rounded that lap off quite nicely and have thrown it into a wall, but we are free. Surprisingly easily actually, and with surprisingly little effect on lap times, at least by the feel of it. And oh dear, we feel like we're hitting the understeer. So, still oversteer, but just about recovered it. Again, unlike the KC8T Rainin thingy, we are able to recover this from a slide. It's not just it slides, you are immediately doomed. So, we have quite an impressive time here. Now, it's by no means the quickest vehicle on the leaderboard, or I don't think even in the top 10, but for an older car, it has done very, very well. It's got a good time, if I can just find it. The time is 31.364, which puts it between the SBR4 hill climb and the Liguan track. So, all in all, very, very solid. You know, we've beaten a track-based Liguan. Although the Liguan isn't, like, world over known for being the best performance car in the world, it was still tuned with that purpose in mind, so we're not a terrible track car here. Also, it's a very tight, winding course, remember, so to keep 600 horsepower under control around that course is really, really impressive. We have still been beaten by the TT Sport Evolution, version of the car, which I guess is a disappointment, but I'm still not complaining because for the time it's set, it's very, very solid, and it really proves what ETK can do if they actually bother to put the time and effort into building a car properly. Okay, so here we have a ETK 800 series with a 1080 horsepower BMW M3 engine and no electronic stability to help us. It does feel like we're in the turbo lag a lot though, and for something that is a good, 500 plus horsepower more than the ETK we had before, no, not 500, 450 plus more than that ETK, it's surprisingly reasonable. I won't lie, I expected this to be horrible given the K-series we've had before, them being modern ETKs in themselves and being complete nightmares, but this is actually incredibly reasonable with the power. It has a ridiculous amount of power, and again, like with the Norlhart round there, I did feel like I messed up, but I did save it and then I messed up again, yay! Hopefully the third lap can be good though, and I'm pretty sure unlike the crazy ETK we had earlier with 8 cylinders and rear wheel drive, this I should be able to actually get a good third lap without having to drive it like a Renault Clio. But anyway, we are getting around this course. I'm going to floor it here because I know it has the grip and I know I can get away with it, which is something I couldn't say for certain other vehicles that have been around here. Not only the K-series, but also the muscle car and the 200BX. They just didn't have the grip. This does. Although when you get the turbo kick, it really does kick being 1080 horsepower. So you have to know where you can use the power. And I've gone a bit wide there. I've gone a lot wide there. But we are getting out of it. And hopefully with a good time. Oh dear. Flooring it. And we've done it. Not the best time in the world though. Okay, so here we have our vehicle, and I'm actually pretty happy with it, I must say, because although it's not the quickest vehicle in the world, it does seem to be more ETKS series than K series, and that is something I'm happy with because I really don't like to drive the K series, but these have turned out to be a lot more reasonable, at least in this particular case, and it's got a huge amount of power, remember, so we have to expect some struggle to keep all of those horses under control. Anyway, the time itself, it's set, is a 0:33.139, which puts it between the Mark II Pessima 2.7 LX Sport, sporty V6 front wheel drive thing. Not very powerful, that car, but remember it is very front wheel drive, so that gives it a huge amount of traction from the off. And it's competed with that well, despite having a crazy amount of power and a lot of it going to the rear, I would imagine. And we've come below the Dove GTZ wagon, which extremely light, extremely agile, so you would expect it to do well around here. Better than something like this, which is really designed for drag racing and high speed racers in general. So I'm happy with it. The Norlhart has still beaten it, but then the ETKI series handle incredibly well, so this is not bad. I mean, at least this is proof a modern ETK can handle well, as opposed to the K series, which didn't really prove anything. So here we finish off with a Volkswagen Fox GL. Not exactly a sports car, but with a 13.3 seconds 0 to 60 time, it's not exactly slow. Oh well, who am I kidding? It's not quick, but it's not hugely slow. Either way, we are pulling around these corners nicely. It's just so nice to have a front wheel drive car as opposed to a crazy powerful all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive car. It's just relaxing now. So we are trimming these corners very nicely. Felt like I got in a kind of dead zone in the power band there though, and it gave me nothing. We actually have very nice handling through here, and the suspension isn't too horrible. It feels kind of sporty, but not really soft. I don't know. What am I doing? Going across all kinds of mud banks that I'm not supposed to. And we are still gathering speed. Ooh, found some turning there, which was always handy. I'm hoping on the third lap I can finally refine my lines a bit and get where I want to go. It's not too bad on the dirt, it just feels like I have no traction, thus no speed. But it's not sliding all over the place there by any means. Now, 30 something seconds, 36 seconds, it looked like that was not a strong time, but we are moving around. It's just not a quick car. Admittedly, I decided to include this just because I wanted to use the car more than anything, and because it was a convenient opportunity to use it. Come on. And I'm running out of things to say about it. It's just a nice kind of Volkswagen saloon, or sedan as you might call them. Ooh, we cut that corner beautifully. That might have saved us some time. Broke our steering a bit as well, but it was too late to matter. Okay, so here we have the scene of the crime. I basically just racked the axle on one of those barriers, and the front end as well. That just all got destroyed at the end, but I was able to shave about 2 seconds a lap, as you'll see at the top, just by being consistent. So, all in all, it set a decent time. It's by no means going to challenge the best on the leaderboard, but it's with similar vehicles. It's with the Roma XLV8 all-wheel drive XT7 seater. Yes, try writing that in a calculator. And just below the Roma and just above the Ford LTD 460. So all in all, this is a solid car for the era. I mean, it's by no means the quickest that Volkswagen had to offer. Even back then, you could probably get a smaller, lighter car with a similar engine which would go quicker, but it's really not a horrible vehicle, and it's a refreshing difference from all the other things we've had today. Still, it's a 34.207, so you know, it's fairly solid. If we had a 6-speed transmission, that's what I'm thinking, it could have been quicker, because I feel the transmission was holding this thing back. It's by no means a sports transmission, so that could always have helped. Otherwise, I can't think of a way to improve it. I mean, we could throw power at it, but that wouldn't necessarily make it a better car to drive. It's pretty lovely to drive as it is. I wonder if we can pull the door. Come on, extra strength. That was the oddest door opening I think I've seen. Probably because we're stuck in slow motion still. But anyway, whoa, look at that. Can we see it flying? No, I think it's already landed. Can we do it with a boot and see that flying? Yeah, look at that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at this, and I'm going to say goodbye until another day.